journey as well in fitness, believe it or not. It started off with thousands of dollars at fitness first, and then, having a very, well, back then I thought it was an overpaid personal trainer, but then I realized that was market rate, because they tend to really upsell you a lot of things that, which you might need, because, they sit you down, they're very good. They tell you, okay, like, what do you want? Like, do you want to build your chest, do you want to build your arms, do you want to have a stronger trunk, do you want to have, like, better calves, all of that. And then, of course, you have a little checklist, right? So, again, because, you go crazy, because you want to literally do a whole body makeover.
Yeah.
So, I want to do this and that and that and that. And then it's like, yeah, you can do all that, but you need to change your diet, you need to change your lifestyle, and literally you need to be in the gym virtually every day. And it's something that I couldn't commit to because back then my work hours were very erratic because I was in sales, and so when clients want to see you, they want to see you.
Yeah.
When they want to have dinner with you, that's where you go. So I couldn't really commit to that kind of schedule, and that's why I think the results were not what I wanted. So, when I see people, have how do you call it? A very well set routine, like what both of you guys have. Because I understand you're gym buddies as well, right?
Yeah.
You sort of do sports for each other. Like, and so the whole idea is, how does it work? Like, does the support system thing really work for you, or do you end up distracting yourselves?
It's more, it's fun and mental support. Mm-hmm. It's more of being with someone that is you're a good buddy, and you're inspiring each other. I mean, basically, I probably wouldn't go to gym if it wasn't for him. Because he's my inspiration, and this Kawil cool. But he's kind of he's kind of the guy that always comes up with different workouts and different this. Let's try this, let's try that. We always like, oh really? Well, and I end up.
I just have fun making him suffer. So it's like
no, but it's
free trainer. I paid more.
It's motivation. It's the motivation, and in your case, I mean, the trainer wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that it has to translate into your mind, and you have to adapt to it. It's mindset.
Yeah.
And then you have to know what you're talking about. You can't just take whatever they say. Yeah, you have to work out a lot. It's not exactly true.
No.
You have to watch what you eat. That's probably among the most important parts. When you eat, maybe depends on your body. And at the same time, we go like 3 times a week. Sometimes we go only once a week. Sometimes we don't go at all. Right? But still, our mindset is aimed at being healthy, especially when you're like my age,
Which is?
36, going on 37. So
Do you believe he looks 37? I mean, like, he's teenager-ish.
and he's hitting 30 soon, so basically it is the
Oh, so you're not even 30 yet?
29 this year.
No. Okay, you've got the daddy vibe going already.
No, but they say when you hit 24, your body starts aging.
Yeah.
It's already slowly going down.
Correct.
So you go against it.
Yeah.
And
And I think that's what we call biohacking, right? Which is, I think, the current trend right now that people are all talking about. Like, how can you hack into your biology to essentially, reduce your biological age, give you, your stamina back, give you that mental clarity, which, by the way, all goes downhill.
Yeah.
After you hit a certain age. I would know. I know, right? Yeah. Well, if you put both of us together, you'll probably think he's the younger version, and you're probably right.
you're older than me.
So the whole idea about it, because Project A, right, which is where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen, is all about optimization. It's about making your car perform better than it is. So I think over lunch earlier, Michael was giving me a bit of a layman idea of what tuning is, right? And I believe, it's all about like cars. When they come out of the factory, they have a certain default setting, right? A factory setting. And that factory setting may not be what you want. Like, you might want to have more torque, more power, more performance, more fuel optimization. And that's when you would pop by and see Michael and say, how do I do this, right? So he basically hacks your engine, if I may use that word.
And sounds very colloquial, but I accept it.
Yeah, that sort of, makes it do what you want it to do, which is very similar to actually what we want to do as well in wellness, which is hacking your body to get you that optimal, right? Like, I want more muscles, I want less body fat, that kind of thing. So how does it work? Like, in terms of like, because like we know about the biohacking for the body, which we'll talk a little bit about after this, but how do you sort of hack the engine, in that sense?
I think the analogy is kind of it's valid because see, people want the best out of what they have, and in this case, we're talking about hardware. Your body is your body. His constitution is his constitution. He definitely will always be stronger than you. He will not get to his strength. We have to accept that. That's the limitation of the hardware. But you have not hit your limit yet. Same goes to cars. Cars come with a certain tolerance, with a certain setup. Let's say this Audi TT out there, he has a 2-liter engine. It doesn't have a 3-liter engine. I cannot make a 3-liter engine out of it unless I transplant the engine. But that would mean we change an essential thing. We can do that about our body. So if I say I want to make this 2-liter engine run as good as it possibly can, there are a few things that we can upgrade about the hardware. So same thing with us. We can work on our muscles, on our strength. And what I do in cars is I give the brain of the engine, the ECU, instructions of how to operate the engine. So it's basically like I'm teaching your brain how to play piano because you have the hardware. Everybody can play piano with 2 hands or even 1. But the brain needs to be fed the instructions so that the fingers do what you want to do. So I'm teaching the car to play whatever the piano it plays, just a little more efficiently. So that's pretty much the analogy.
Great. Okay. So that's what tuning is. From again, an expert has been doing it for many years, right? So the whole idea again, in fitness, right? Going back to our topic of today is how do we sort of maintain it? So, like, for example, you have certain goals, you have certain goals, right? Is there something where it's literally like once you hit it, like you just go, okay, I'm happy, or is it like an ongoing journey where, okay, I've hit this point, but there's more. Is there going to be an end point, or is it just going to keep going up?
I think there has to be an ongoing thing because the moment I stop, I'll go back. Literally. So, I mean, so there's for me, it's always been like you're either working to hit a goal or maintain and cruise where you're at. So I think for me, when I hit my ideal body weight or body shape, not so much on the weight, more of how I look, then I will probably just try to maintain that. Prior to this, I was very obsessed about strength. So I did a lot of strength training. I don't know if you're familiar with the 5x5 strength training.
When you push the wheel, that big.
No, so 5x5 is basically, you guys can look it up. 5x5 strength training is you only focus on your compound moves. You do five sets or 5 reps until you fatigue. So the week is split into only compound moves: your squats, your shoulder press, your bench, your deadlift, your rows, and that really helps build up your strength. So I used to do that for many months. That's how suddenly I got very strong.